We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our study of Panchadasi chapter 1 continues today, titled Tattva Viveka Prakaranam. Tattva means the higher reality. The higher reality means my real nature. That is what is called as Tattva. And what does this chapter deal with? It deals with how to differentiate my higher nature with my lower nature. My higher nature is called as Atma or Brahman. It's just a name, so that it helps in the teaching. What is a lower nature? The lower nature is defined in Tattva Bodha as the koshas, the 5 costumes which I wear, the dresses, the roles which I play. That is the lower nature. Another definition of the lower nature is the person or the entity in this body which is experiencing the world in the waking state, the world in the dream state, and no world in the sleep state. This is my lower nature. How do you define, how do you say, what is the nature of my, what is my higher nature? It is called as Sat Chit Ananda. We have seen all this. Today we are almost going to end this chapter. I'm just doing a quick revision so that we know. You see, every time when you come to the class or a session, you should know what we are discussing, where you have to understand, with what point of view you have to understand. So the differentiation is with reference to the body and consciousness. Body, mind, and awareness. Awareness is my real nature. But today in ignorance, I think that this body is me, the mind is me, and the world which I am interacting is a permanent world. That is what is my current thought processes. This vision is Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional reality. What about the dream world? The dream world is Pratibhasika Satyam. This world in the Jagrata Avastha, waking state, is made up of Panchabhutas. It is entirely different than the world I experience in the dream, which is made up of vasanas, which are thrown out by my Karana Shariram. Shankaracharya very beautifully analyzes this in Mandukya Upanishad. Very, very detailed analysis of this is done. What Swami Vidyaranya does is, he tries to take those ideas he puts them into a garland of topics, 65 verses, and then presents the same truth what Shankaracharya presents in the different Upanishads. We have finished 62 verses. We'll start today with the 63rd verse. And first we'll see, I started this last week, but this is where I stopped in slide number 496. What is this verse talking about? This verse is talking about what is the result of this Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, the knowledge of this higher truth. First is indirectly understood or given out by the Guru. How does he give this teaching? By avantara dakyam. I'm using Sanskrit terms, but there is no other alternative. But I'll explain to you what it means. The Guru uses Upanishad. He teaches the Upanishad. In the Upanishad, there are two types of sentences. One sentence describes the nature of Brahman, Atma, like neti neti, like adrishyam, avyaktam. There are different words which are used to describe Brahman, describe the higher nature. So the Guru uses the pramanam, which is called as shastra pramanam, and explains to me with the help of shastra pramanam, the Upanishad vakyam. He explains to me the nature of that higher reality. That is what is called as paroksha jnana. Then I am a student who listens to this. Oh, this is my real nature, consciousness, awareness, satyam, jnanam, anantam, beyond time, ekam, advitiyam. These are all words, Sanskrit words used in the Upanishads. When the seeker hears this, what happens to him is what is described in this verse. The seeker understands clearly, oh, this is my nature. When the seeker understands clearly that this is his nature and this is not his nature. What is his nature? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. In simple terms, what does it mean? Whatever I am in my sleep state, when I don't experience the world, when I don't experience my body or the projections of my mind, at that time, who am I? At that time, I am Brahman. I am Atma. All of you will be able to understand this. It's a very, very simple process by which I'm explaining. I am in the waking state, no doubt about it. But my mind can travel and try to recollect what I experienced in the sleep state. And who was the experiencer in the sleep state? That is what I am trying to understand. If I can reach that truth clearly in my own mind, the Upanishad tells me I will not have rebirth in this world. Why? Because all the sins or all the punyam which I have in my account in the Karana Shariram, they are completely nullified with the help of this jnana. See, this topic of Brahman or Atma is a very, very deep topic. Your mind has to be very, very agile. It has to be purified. It has to try to understand the subtle truth of this body and the subtle truth behind this whole universe. Okay, so this is the meaning of this verse. That when I know my real nature, I will have no rebirth because I will claim Atma as my real self. Okay, that is what is the meaning of this verse. So in this slide 496, which I stopped last week, this explains to us what happens when we get the knowledge. This is like what an example is given by Swami Chinmayananda. He says, we become like magnets. What does the magnet do? It will attract, and it'll attract the iron filings towards the two ends of the poles. Similarly, when Atma is revealed to me, I become like the magnet, or the Brahman Atma becomes the magnet, and I merge, I join with that magnet which is pulling me. This is just an example. Okay? The north and the south are the body and the mind. The appearance of body, you can take it as the magnet, and the south is either you can take it as a teacher or a student or the mind. So Shruti has the power to make us join with the higher truth. Not only reveals the truth, but it also helps me to abide in the truth. The Guru contacts the students through the beam of Shruti. So don't forget that the Shruti means what? Upanishads. Without the Upanishad instrument, you can never know your real nature. Like only with a telescope, I can see the Mars or the Jupiter or the moon, the crest of the moon and so on, with a highly powered telescope. In the case of the self, the power is the Vedic mantras. So my mind becomes quiet, and then I get the knowledge of the higher self. Mahavakya, you see, earlier I told you about Paroksha Jnana, which is the description of the self, remote self, higher self. You'll think that it is very far away from you. God is very far away from you. Aparoksha Jnana means what? That God which I'm searching outside in the world is really in this body and mind. That is what is called as aparoksha. Aparoksha, not paroksha. How do I get to know this? Through mananam and nididhyas. Mananam means what? Contemplate on the meaning of mahavakya. This is the nature of Brahman, and the Upanishad says, this is my nature. Instead of saying Brahman's nature, you have to convert that into Aham Brahma Asmi. I am of that nature. I am Satyam. I am Chaitanyam. I am Anantam. This is called as aparoksha jnanam. When you do this, what happens? The papam and the punyam in your account becomes nullified. For all this, Veda is the only proof. There is no other proof. Why we will not have rebirth? The Veda tells me that. That's all. Papam can be of two types. One is that with full knowledge, I commit it. I commit a papa. I know that it is wrong to go and steal something from a shop, but still I end up stealing from a shop or stealing from somebody. Why? Because of the tendency, vasana in my mind, that pushes it. The second one is unconsciously, I become angry, I shout at somebody, unconsciously. It is again due to vasana only, but unconsciously. In the first case, it is consciously you commit something. But both these are destroyed when I again and again remind myself, I am the sakshi. I am not the mind. When I repeated 1,000 times this sentence, what happens is I develop a vasana that I am the sakshi. Because that becomes embedded in my consciousness. When that happens, what is the result of that? Ajnanam is destroyed. Not by paroksha jnanam, but aparoksha jnanam. Aparoksha jnanam again, what does it mean? I am the light of Atma in this body-mind complex. Repeat it, and this is your real nature. If you believe that this is what is the teaching, the central teaching of all the Upanishads. In Vichara Sagara, I'll divert a little bit. In Vichara Sagara, the higher text written by Nishala Dasa, in the Vedic period, how was the society? He beautifully describes this in the 7th chapter of this Vichara Saga. He says, the author says, there were 18 branches of the Vedas. And the people connected all their activities behind these 18 branches. The 4 Vedas are the primary branches. Then there are Upavedas, subsidiary Vedas. Then there are other sciences like Ayurveda, so many different sciences he describes. If you really want to know the gist, you have to go to that 7th chapter. But what is the essence he says? He says that all the 18 branches of the Veda had only one goal. And that goal was moksha purushartha. The whole Vedic society was there at some time before in India, and the whole society had only one goal. How can I reach my highest nature? How can I become Atma? The whole society was, even earning money was towards reaching that goal. Every activity was towards reaching. I eat because I want to keep my body healthy. Why do I keep my body healthy? Because I want to know my real nature. The whole society was driven in that direction. Very beautiful descriptions were there in that 7th chapter. Coming back here, Ishavasya Upanishad has this verse, the 3rd verse. Asurya namate lokaha andena tamasavrataha. Those people who are who do not know this Brahman, they go into darker worlds, means they are still in ignorance. What it means is know this your higher nature and try to have no rebirth. So this is the Phalashruti. Phalashruti means what? By this jnanam, what do I get? I don't get any more birth in this universe. Any birth is full of pain, jara, disease, maranam, death. All these are pain. All this in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, evaluate your life and tell me whether there is pain in the life or not. Jara, maranam, diseases, decay, all are painful. It's very common. It's a very common thing in the world. We see all this. And we also experience old age. Then life is not as good it was when we were in youth. So we get a vairagyam from this world, but we don't know what to do next. That vairagyam, we have to convert it into Brahma Jnana. This verse of the sixth chapter, Prapya punya kritam lokan, ushitva shashvati samaha, shuchinam srimatam yehe, yoga prashto vijayate. Even if you are not able to complete this in this birth, this journey, spiritual journey in this birth, don't worry. In the next birth, you'll be born in a house which is very pure. Right from a young age, you will start developing a taste for Vedanta. You'll be born in a rich family. You don't have to go and work. Money will be given to you so that you come and get this wealth of knowledge, which is Atma Vidya. Athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etat iti durlabhataram loke janma yadishriyam. So don't worry if you don't get this full knowledge. Suppose you say, I have done the 65 verses. How come I have not got this knowledge of Brahman? How come I cannot say? Don't worry. Do another chapter. Do another text. Keep studying. That is the way to go forward. Even if you don't complete, don't worry, because in the next birth, you will continue from where you left. That is what is said in the Shruti, in the Smriti. Bhagavad Gita clearly says this. So, Paroksha Jnanam you may have got in one birth, but if you want to get Aparoksha Jnanam, I hope you all have understood Paroksha Jnanam and Aparoksha Jnanam. In case anybody is not understood, please let me know in the chat box. I will explain to you one more time. Next verse.
अपरोक्षात्म विज्ञानम् अपरोक्षात्म विज्ञानम् शाब्दं देशिकपूर्वकम् शाब्दं देशिकपूर्वकम् संसारकारणज्ञान संसारकारणज्ञान तमसश्चण्डभास्करः तमसश्चण्डभास्करः.
In this verse, Swami Vidyaranya compares our life's journey to the journey which we make on the earth under the scorching sun. Under the scorching sun means what? It's a very painful journey. You're sweating. Your whole life you're sweating for money. You couldn't make the ends meet. Or you made some ends meet, but you still are struggling to get some more. If not money, you want a house. You want some more houses. If not this, you want more children. Suppose you have children, you may want something else. So the desire is something which is never ending. In this body, it is our desires. In this scorching sun, we are all covered by the darkness of avidya. Why we are still struggling? Because of ignorance. And this ignorance is the root cause of transmigratory existence. This is what is said in the scriptures, in the Upanishads. Vidyaranya borrows it from Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and he puts it in this verse. It tells us what is this life all about. We lead this life, we drop the body, our mind takes another body, again goes through the joy and sorrow. This is what is called as samsara cycle. But there is a way out. What is the way out? Come to paroksha jnanam and aparoksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam, I come to know that there is something called as pure Atma. I enter nirvikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa samadhi means just meditation. That's all. Then what happens? Aparoksha jnanam comes. Why it comes? Because I have understood the mahavakya. Mahavakyam only gives me the aparoksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam I can get from avantara vakyam. Mahavakyam gives me aparoksha jnanam. Mahavakyam means what? Tat Tvam Asi. Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Atma Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. These are all sentences from the Upanishad which are talking about the oneness between the Jiva and Ishvara, between the creator and the created. Oneness. So, aparoksha jnanam comes from Shabda Mahavakya. And that Mahavakyam destroys samsara karanam. What is the samsara karanam? Ajnanam. Tamaha. It is like darkness. In darkness, what happens? I am not at ease. I'm always anxious. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children? This is the thought which I have. If I have this thought, what does the Upanishad says? You are in ignorance about your real nature. And you are still under the midday sun, being scorched. Aparoksha Atma Vijnanam puts an end to samsara karanam. Panchadasi chapter 1 teaches us the inner working of the mind and how the mind gets liberated by mahavakya. Okay, so this is just a revision. Paroksha jnanam, aparoksha jnanam. Paroksha jnanam is descriptions of that Brahman. Okay. What is aparoksha jnanam? I am that Brahman is aparoksha jnanam. In shravanam, in hearing, in listening to the scriptures, pramana gata sanshaya is removed. Pramana means what? Whatever is the goal of the scriptures, I don't have any doubt about it. Like I said earlier, 18 branches of the Vedas all have only one goal, moksha purushartha. In Mananam, what happens? Prameya gata samshaya. Pramanam means the instrument. I know that Upanishad is the only instrument I have to use. Either today or after 10 years, when you are studying scriptures, there is only one instrument. That instrument is the Upanishadic Vakya. Panchadasi. These are all texts which are all Pramana Vakyams. Prameya means what? Pramanam is the instrument. I don't have any doubts about the instrument to be used, which is the Pramanam, which is the Shastra, which is the Upanishadic sentences. Mananam is Prameya Gata Samshaya removal. Mananam means what? I try to contemplate on the nature of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. How can I be Satyam? I see this body, therefore it cannot be Satyam. I see my mind, I experience my mind, it cannot be Satyam. Upanishad tells me through the Pramana Vakyam that there is consciousness. That consciousness is me. That awareness is me. When I am able to come to this conclusion, that is what is called as Mananam. And then what happens? The next step is what? Nididhyasana. In Nididhyasana, what do? I repeat the flow of thought. I am that awareness. I am that consciousness. I get perfect intellectual clarity because that consciousness is never away from me. At any time, you can be completely secure. Only in one place. In the whole cosmos, there is only one place where you will be secure. What is that place? It is your own higher nature, which is defined as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, which is not in time. Anything in time is nashaha. It will get destroyed. It will give me fear. There is only one thing which will give me fearlessness, abhayam, which will give me immortality, amritam. And that is Atma. Through this study of the chapter 1, I have, with the grace of the Lord, I have got some idea about this higher nature of life. As we study more and more, this becomes more and more clear. A time comes when you will say, there is no doubt in me at all. All the viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana means what? I am the body, I am suffering. All these thoughts will go away from you. Why? When will this? How will these doubts and how will these thoughts go away? When my sanchita karma, punya papam, comes to an end, I will have no more doubts. Till then, the doubts will come. It's a question of time. And once you come to this realization, that is the litmus test for paroksha jnana. In nididhyasana, if I can claim I am the self without any doubts, it's such a beautiful thing. It's an experience you cannot describe in words. Jiva Bhava goes, Brahma Bhava, Sakshi Bhava comes to me. Like a japa of Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, my mind automatically chants this mantra without any effort. Similarly, this thought, I am that pure awareness, which has been revealed to me by the Upanishads, by Panchadasi chapter 1, that witnessing consciousness is the reality behind this body-mind complex, behind this entire universe, which is a drishyam for me. This abidance, this conviction is called as aparokshanyana. I don't have to tell everybody about it because this is a very personal experience. Very, very deep inside me, in my subconscious mind, all the doubts about myself have been withered away, and I experience Brahma Bhava throughout my life, and this is called as Jivan Mukti. Okay? Confirmation of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. My experience in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, once the Mula avidya is destroyed, that is the end to samsara. So paroksha jnanam destroys all the sanchita punya papa. Aparoksha jnanam makes me a jivan mukta here and now. Vidyaranya Swamiji in the first chapter has given us both. Paroksha jnanam telling us my swarupam is satyam jnanam anantam. Aparoksha jnanam through mahavakya, I claim that what the Upanishad says is my real self. We come to the last verse of this first chapter.
Ityam tattva vivekam vidhaya Ittam tattva vivekam vidhaya Vidhivan manasamadhaya Vidhivan manasamadhaya Vigalita samspriti bandha prapnoti Vigalita samspriti bandha prapnoti Parampadam naro nachirat Parampadam naro nachirat.
The last verse, Swami Vidyaranya says, after understanding what is paroksha jnanam and aparoksha jnanam, the seeker is able to distinguish the 5 koshas in his mind. I am not the body, annamaya kosha. I am not the prana, pranamaya kosha. I am not the manomaya kosha. I am not the vijnanamaya kosha. I am not the anandamaya kosha, which is happiness in this world. That also I am not. Who am I? I am the Sakshi Chaitanyam, which is a witness to all these 5 koshas. When I hold on to that Sakshi as my real nature, the bonds of repeated births and deaths, that bondage, I need to take another body. I need to experience something more in this universe. That thought is destroyed. I don't need anything. I am fulfilled as I am. If you can say that I am fulfilled as I am because I know Panchadasi chapter 1 very well. Very beautifully, Swami Vidyaranya has explained the whole truth about ourselves and how we can really experience that truth deep within ourselves. Upadi Shariratraya is not me. The gross body, the subtle body, the causal body is not me. I am Tattva, Satchidananda Vastu. I am pure consciousness, pure existence, pure happiness. They are not three substances, but they are one substance looked from three angles. I can distinguish awareness, pure awareness from anatma, which is sthula prapancha, sukshma prapancha, karana prapancha. I can know the difference between the individual jiva and the total Satchidananda Tattva, which is an upadhi of Ishvara. Maya has got two aspects, upadana karanam, nimitta karanam. Both of them is called as Maya. Upadana means material cause. Nimitta karana means intelligent cause. That shakti in that Brahman, that shakti in that Atma is this Maya principle. I have to get out of this Maya chakram. It is the Maya chakram which keeps on throwing thoughts in my mind. Do this, do that, ahamkara, mamakara. Whatever ahamkara and mamakara is attached to in the world becomes reality. But there is a higher reality which is Atma Tattvam. Karma indriyas, jnana indriyas, how they are forming the entire rajoguna of the tanmatras, they become the entire universe. We have to do this tattva viveka from two angles. One is the individual angle, another is the total angle. Macrocosm, microcosm. Jiva, Ishvara angle. In what way did Vidyaranya ask us to perform Tattva Viveka at the individual level? Through the process of Anvaya Vitireka. The Jiva says the Sthula Shariram is not there in Swapna. This is the process of Anvaya Vitireka. I'm just doing a summary of what all we did. How did we come to this end? How do I do this, operate this process of Anvaya and Vitireka? It is, I look at my dream world. In the dream world, my gross body is not there. In the waking world, the subtle images which I saw, that is not there now. So Sthula Shariram, I am not. Sukshma Shariram, I am not. So Sthula Shariram is not there, Vyatireka, but there is Anvaya. Anvaya means what? There is something continuously is there. What is that? That is called as Satchidananda Atma. Whatever is continuously there without a change is called as Atma. Never changes. When I was a baby also, I was the Atma. When I was 1 year old also, I was the Atma. My body has undergone change after change, modifications after modifications. My mind also has modified. It has become more pure now. But the illuminating principle, which is the Sakshi, the light of Sakshi, that has never changed. That is what is the Anvaya portion. Anvaya means it is common to all my avasthas. Okay. What about that Ishvara? Ishvara as the Karanam of the universe is there when I'm experiencing the world. But in Samadhi state, I am going beyond the Karana Avastha. I don't see that Karanam also. Therefore, Ishvara is also a part of this Jagat, which is Vyavaharika Satya. Through Mahavakyam Tat Tvam Asi, I hold on to that pure consciousness as my real self. And I realize, what do I realize? This self is the one which has to be realized all the time. It is not one-time realization, but it is my swarupam, which can never leave me. This is the meaning of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam, which is described in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Maitreyi Brahmanam. So through Anvaya Vitireka and the process of Bhagatyaga Lakshana, these are all words, but then we have done this analysis of Mahavakya. Through this process, I drop the body and I remain as this ever illumined principle. It is the light of all the lights, brilliant. It is always there. Eternally it is there. It is beyond time. And how much time do I need to realize this? Swami Vidyaranya says, Nachira, without delay, immediately try to understand this truth. That is the goal of chapter 1 of Panchadasi. Normally, when the chapter is finished, we chant the first mantra again. This is the mantra of the first mantra, namash Shri Shankarananda Guru, Padambho Janmane, Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasikai Karmane. I bow down to the Guru who has revealed this truth to me. And with this, all what I wanted to achieve in this world, I have now achieved. Because it is the inner truth which I was searching all the time. Okay, so with this, we close this chapter 1. Guru Stotram says, salutations to that Guru who has shown me this reality. And what is this reality? It is the Adhishthanam. It is the basis for the entire relative world of movable and immovable beings. Okay, so this is the ultimate reality. It is nothing but it is the Atma, which is my own real self. What we have seen in this entire chapter is 2 verses, 1 and 2, which introduce the topic. Verse number 3 to 7, it discusses Chit aspect, Chaitanyam aspect. Then in verse 8 and 9, we saw what is Ananda. In verse 10, there was a conclusion of Sat Chit Ananda. Then from 11 to 36, we saw creation. Shrishti. How is the world created out of the 5 elements? Then we use this Anvaya Vyatireka method to say Atma is Satyam, Jiva Jagat Ishvara is Mithya. Atma is the continuous principle. And then we studied Mahavakyam Tat Tvam Asi, which said, hold on to that changeless Atma and drop bhagat tyaga lakshana. From my I, suppose I'm saying aham, I. In this aham, there are 2 aspects, Atma and Anatma. Atma aspect is the Satchidananda. Anatma aspect is the 5 koshas. So in my mind, in meditation, I learn to say, I am the Atma, I am not the Anatma. That is what is done in Mahavakya. And then there was an opponent who said, how is this possible? And then we reached the conclusion, 50 to 65, very beautiful section of Panchadasi chapter 1, which talked about Samadhi Abhyasa. Samadhi Abhyasa is optional. It is not compulsory. There are some jnanis who devote their time in only meditation and enjoying Atma Sukham, which is a reflected Ananda of the Atma in the mind. Some yogis are interested. There are 3 grades in that. Variyan, Varishtaha, and so on. I have explained this before. Brahmavid, Variyan, Varishtaha. But then ultimately, through Paroksha Jnanam, Aparoksha Jnanam, Vidyaranya concludes this entire chapter 1. Okay, so I will finish this summary I have explained to you before of all these verses, each verse, what does it mean? Okay, so with this, I will close today's session. As explained to you, Panchadasi chapter 2, I will start next week. I will conclude the Panchadasi chapter 2 on the last day, on the 13th of December. And then 14th December to 13th January, there will be no classes. All Wednesday classes will stop at the end of this year. There will be continuation next year of a new text on Sundays. I have explained this to you. On Sundays, we will be having the same sessions. Mandukya Upanishad, Bhashyam will be taking from 14 January onwards. Okay, so next week, I'm going to do Panchadasi, 2nd chapter, 109 verses. I will not go verse by verse. I will give you some important verses I will discuss, and I'll try and finish it with, like I said, there'll be about 5-6 sessions, and we'll see 4 sessions of November, 1 more session of this, say about 5-6 sessions we'll have on chapter 2. I'll just give you a summary of that in the beginning itself, so that you can, whatever verses we can complete, the balance verses you can read and understand. See, we have done Panchadasi in very great detail during 2023. So by now, this group who have been attending the sessions, you have a very good idea about how Swami Vidyaranya writes his textbook, which is Panchadasi, consisting of 15 chapters. Even though I have not done the other chapters, if somebody is really interested, there are notes available which are there in the website. And whenever somebody is interested to do study those chapters, you can refer to my notes. It will be very easy after having done so many chapters. And therefore, I feel that we can put an end to Panchadasi this year. Next year, we'll start a very, very beautiful Upanishad, which is Mandukya Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in case you want to ask any questions or you have any remarks about what we discussed today, you are free to speak.
Shekharji, we have completed chapter 1, an excellent Panchadasi Vidyaranya Swami.
Yes.
These first five chapters are really, I find, extraordinary with reference to the Viveka part of it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Connecting particularly, whenever I just see, I was going to and Panchadasi and this Viveka Chudamani. See, the Shankara, it looks like he wanted to give more info regarding the consciousness and more explanation compared to the Upanishads in an abridged way. And that is how the 550 verses.
Yes.
But Vidyaranya Swamiji has gone from the jiva to the consciousness. Like his emphasis, what I could see, that the doubt, like what you were just saying, that the doubt part in the mind, which has to be removed, samshaya. So removing that samshaya, so he could clarify so beautifully, like all this jivan srushti, Iswara srushti, how the jiva is related, all these gunas and all, the common configuration between the jiva and the external world and all, very beautifully analyzed. It's an extraordinary. The first 5 chapters I find really extraordinary. We still had to go to the second chapter, but Tattva Viveka is definitely an extraordinary chapter. So it gives lots of clarification with reference to the jiva side, mind, intellect, and the Iswara, Maya, Upadhi, and the classification.
Yes.
So this is a very unique. We haven't, I do not remember in any other Upanishads and all so precisely they have given particularly this Upadhi and the Nimitta.
Correct, yes. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because no other text, that's why I wanted to take this Panchadasi, because it's a very unique text. And this Swami Vidyaranya is a great master. He's an acharya. He's a great teacher. See, the same Upanishad, the truth of the Upanishad, he brings it out so beautifully. And then he says, in each chapter, he has got a structure. Whether you do mahavakya vichara, whether you do Swayam Jyoti, the light of all the lights is consciousness. He has got a very beautiful structure. And I'm glad we could take up Panchadasi as a text, and we have done a very, very serious study of this Swami Vidyaranya. And it's nice. It's good. It's good that we could fill up this gap. And, we all grow in spirituality in our own way. And thanks to Vijaya, she has also chanted all these verses and made things very easy for us to link to the verses. You see, she has got a wonderful voice. And she takes trouble in, practicing and then finally giving us these final versions, which is, we are very, very thankful to her.
Very nicely chanted, yeah. It's the whole chapter, I feel it went in a very cohesive way. The entire configuration and all. Now, I just want to check with you. Like the first 5 chapters are dealing with the Viveka,
Correct.
and the next 5 chapters, which we have covered, that part of Deepaka.
Yeah,
Prakarana.
deeper. That means is a light of consciousness. The first is Viveka. Viveka between Atma and Anatma. And then the next 5 is all to do with the Deepa. Deepa means a consciousness portion.
Chit part, direct Chit actually.
The 5 chapters are all on consciousness. We did the 6th chapter, which talked about mahavakya and all the light of all the lights. We did one chapter.
6th chapter, yeah. Deepaka.
6th chapter we did. That is, that's when we did. And then the last 5 chapters is all about Ananda.
Ananda, the last 5 chapters.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Satchid Ananda, he has broken up into 5 chapters.
Each 5 chapters. Yeah, that's the clarification what I could see actually.
Yes.
This is something we need to revisit Panchadasi, I feel. This is something extraordinary. Maybe if we can cover some time that Ananda Prakarana also, at least.
Let us see. Let us see. Let us, next year I want to devote to Mandukya.
Yeah, Mandukya, of course, yeah. That's
and maybe we'll come back to this again. Let's leave it open. Let's see how this next chapter goes. Good. Anybody else has any other question or anything else? If there are no other questions, then we'll catch up next week. Next Wednesday, we'll see we'll start with the 2nd chapter. And we'll continue our study. Okay. Thank you. And good night to everybody.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Bye-bye.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.